Alright, well, hello there, and welcome back to Prison Architect, folks. Welcome to, I believe, episode 4. Last time we got the upper section here done of our prison, our, for lack of a better term, maximum security area set up. For the most part, as you can probably tell, we need some piping done, and afterwards, everything should be fine and dandy from the looks of things. Don't know why this section is disconnected, but sure. Right, so we'll get all this set up. We'll get the logistics set up as well. So we have a separate kitchen that should be powered, but isn't right now, so we'll just get that set up as well. Once all of this stuff is powered, don't know what these guys are doing standing out here. I suppose they're a little bit of a border patrol, but once we get this area powered up, what we can do here is with the food distribution, or actually it's already set up. So yeah, this area has a separate kitchen on its own. You can't assign cooks to it, but cooks are just kind of delivered as is, and the maximum security prisoners have a very specific spot for them to eat. What is canceling all of my pipes? Right, well, hopefully that's fixed soon-ish. I'm not really sure if we're missing a pipe here or whether or not that's just kind of not there. But once we have this set up, it should be good, or hopefully. Here, you know what? I'm under the impression maybe, so as you may have noticed, I mean, there is a distance, there's a maximum distance that these pipes can flow to, so maybe we're just too far away. Maybe this is just too far away of the distance from the big pipe. So we'll get that back up, and we'll get that back and running, so that should be fine. And oh, that's right, we have some sort of like some sort of plague going on inside our prison. So yeah, it looks like the doctors can treat a few dudes at one time. You know, this might be a pretty big problem, and I'm under the impression that these dormitories are new things, but then I mean the disease is kind of an old thing from the game. So that said and all, this seems to be quite the difficult thing to deal with. So let's add a new string of beds maybe to the infirmary. At the very least, we can kind of treat some more people there than anything else. You know, I'm not really sure whether or not this virus outbreak it's kind of fatal or not, but either way, I mean, it has already infected, oh god, the vast majority of our prison. So there's not too much we can do about it, unfortunately. I mean, we can just kind of let it be, really. Hope the prisoners come out alive. And if not, unfortunately, we don't have any fail conditions. So I don't know, maybe we'll just get a new set of prisoners at the end of the day. Kind of a grim way to put it, I know, but nevertheless, that is, I suppose, what needs to happen. So let's fix up a few of our problems here. I'm under the impression we also don't have enough cook places, not necessarily, say, cooks, but cooking arrangements. So let's get another set done, and let's just, you know what, power through and power all of that good stuff up. How are we doing on power? We have about 2 bars left, so should be fine. And oh right, we might want to make a separate yard for the prisoners over here, so then we can completely kind of isolate these minimum security or maximum security prisoners from anywhere else. But yeah, it is kind of a problem that they... Yeah, once that gets set up, they'll probably use their own shower, I want to say. But until then, we'll just have to wait on it. Anyhow, for the virus outbreak and all, I mean, things doesn't look like they're all too bad. How are we doing for prisoner danger? So some people have serious complaints. I'm guessing that's more so because of the disease there, but it's under control for now. And prisoners are yeah, they're well fed, so they should be fine for the most part. There you go. So yeah, as it turns out, one of the things that will happen is that a lot of the families will try to pass contraband through to the prisoners. Eventually, we probably want to get something to set up over there to help them out, or to kind of stop that, but for now, we'll let it be. Haven't read the CEO yet. So yeah, all we had to do is read that. I don't think it gets us any cash, but just delete that right there. Okay, so yeah, I mean, things seem to be going pretty well so far. And the amount of sick prisoners is starting to drop, so I'm guessing, yeah, that should just kind of fade away at some point or another. How are we doing here for logistics once again? So food demand is decent. The main thing is just that this is like kind of a revolving cafeteria. People just kind of come in and out during the day. So with the real food supply and all, it kind of varies. But we can check that over here. So there is a portion of the population not getting enough food. That's kind of the red part right here where it's critical. But for the most part, the kitchen is doing decently well. Nevertheless, I'm under the impression we should probably build another kitchen soon enough. The main thing is that they already have 3 new cookers. I see some idle places. So let's bump up the amount of cooks to 16. They almost never seem to use the sink for anything. And now, let's see. So we're starting to do a better job of meeting the food supply there. Over here, I'm guessing they can also probably use a couple more guys, but for the time being, I think we'll just let that be. So yeah, overall, that is our prison at a glance. And it seems to be working, I'd say, decently well, for what it's worth. So, going forwards, let's make a separate yard for these guys to just kind of, well, you know, kind of chill in. So I'm actually going to make this into a 1x1 area. And the idea is that we can probably have a metal detector right there, so that we can kind of catch some of these people trying to move in contraband and all. The idea is then we can designate a separate yard for these folks. And what this will do is, hopefully, it'll make it so that these maximum security prisoners, they don't actually, or they'll try to minimize their engagement with anybody else, if at all possible, which is quite nice. So now I'm going to see whether or not we can kind of finish off some of these other goals here real fast. There's quite a lot of stuff that we can do. I think we'll leave it at B for now, and we'll just kind of keep these programs running, really, and that's pretty much it. So this one in particular, lots of people are interested. It looks like they're doing the search of the prison, which is quite nice. 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'll have to keep a closer eye on that. In theory, a teacher should come out. The teacher's not part of staff, but a teacher should come in and should teach the classes over here in the classroom on a time schedule. Is how that mechanic is supposed to work. But I'm guessing maybe it's because it's quite far away or something like that. The guy doesn't always come by, or maybe it's just because there's a whole bunch of things in the prison that needs to be done first, or a lot of queued jobs here that needs to be done before things can actually happen. Shouldn't be a major problem though, and the infection is practically gone, which is pretty good. I'm gonna the guard posted for laundry duty isn't really doing his thing. I'll cancel that, and I'll reassign him. The idea is that I wanna see what exactly is going on inside that laundry room. So say for example, right now I can probably assign a couple of prisoners into there, but it doesn't look like anyone's getting laundry kind of through and towards any of the guys, which is kind of troubling. There you go. So yeah, yard time for the prisoners. I think it always anchors off of the canteen, so they have their own canteen, and therefore they connect with the nearest yard. So yeah, these prisoners are now kind of completely separated from the chain. Over here, so yeah, that is pretty good. How are we looking for demand right now? It looks like only medium security prisoners are inside here. For the most part, we might need a second or a third cooking area. Come to think of it, oh, one death. Ah, let's slow this down. So it looks like some of the prisoners over here came by to eat. As it turns out, it looks like I don't know, maybe they brawled with one of the guys for food. And since we have it set up so that, you know, if a fight occurs, they'll search all the people around here. They are currently doing that, which is quite nice. And they should hopefully have that sorted out in quite a bit. Alright, so that's pretty good. And over here, that should get that other section set up quite nicely, which is also very, very good. Now it really looks like really looks like we need a couple more places for food. So let's get that set up. So we do have a room down here that we haven't been using for much. So that said and all, I think we'll actually designate this area as a new cook or a new kitchen, just simply because it looks like there is a massive demand for food coming out of that room. And I noticed that one guy over here, this guy, seen where Sean McCoy, he's actually injured and he's also starving, and I do believe they'll actually die because of that. So let's designate a really big kitchen over here. Let's get some more cookers going. And let's just get this area to pump out as much food as possible for the prison over there. This might be overdoing it by just a bit. But at the very least, that should take care of all of our food problems, at least to the main cafeteria. Alright. So we'll see how that prison or how that building works. Should be pretty good though. And once that is done, let's see, it's currently 11 a.m. I'm going to wait a bit, and I'm going to see whether or not anyone actually shows up to the area over here. Or actually, programs, 5 to 8. 5 to 8. Let's take a look at the regime. 5 to 8. So that looks like it's pretty much only available for either minimum security people in free time or maybe in work for the other people. But we'll see. Taking a look at our different options here. It looks like in free time, a lot of the maximum security, or I should say a decent amount of the maximum security prisoners, they do actually come down into this area. It's kind of problematic in the sense that it still mixes them in with like the regular prisoners. So that it's kind of weird actually. They don't have a setting here in the deployment thing where you can specify kind of like mixes of both. Or I don't know. Let's try this. If we designate this as minimum and back to max medium, it doesn't, you can't set it to be like and like, yeah, and or kind of conditions. So say for example, if I wanted to make the common room kind of like only one type of people can be in it at one time, you can't really set that up. So that kind of sucks, but oh well. There we go, there's the extra stoves. Alright, so once that happens, that should be good. Ah! Or no. Or never mind, no. Both of these storefronts are indeed working, so that is pretty good. That gets some... Ah, and the prison room over here, it is also working pretty well. This is pretty good. So that has, yeah, that has that area working out fairly well. So let's see. Alright, so still there's a couple of needs being unmet, but for the most part things are looking pretty good over there. Is it because these doors are locked or something? No, they're just normal doors. Okay, so we'll need to get the laundry room working, but apart from that, things seem to be, for the most part, pretty good. Yeah, there are prisoners, there should be prisoners working inside that laundry room. Try to post another guard in there, so at the very least we can kind of see what's going on. But yeah, for the most part, this is working quite nicely. Right, so let's bump up the cook staff to maybe 24. Get us a nice number of cooks to staff all of these areas. One of the problems might just be, yeah, us not having enough cooks to sustain all of this. This guy is operating sink. Ah, okay, so they actually do use the sinks to clean up the trays left behind here. Have not seen that before. Fridge. Really don't know what they use all of these. Oh, I see. These fridges, they actually serve a purpose. Sure. So I suppose we can link all of those up. That should, yeah, get this area working pretty well. How are they doing over here? Okay, fair enough. That area's doing... Oh. So fair enough, that area is working, at least to some extent, to capacity, which is kind of nice. And there. So now, food distribution. Yeah, lots and lots of supplies coming from this big area right over here. Ah. What happened? Ah, I see. All of those things caused us to run out of power from the looks of things. So we'll add some more capacitors. And hope that nothing happens in the meantime while everything else is dark. This might be the end of it, come to think of it. If all these prisoners decide to kind of riot at one time, I don't know if these two doors would be able to hold them back. But let's see. Hopefully somebody builds these capacitors really fastly. If nothing happens then. If nothing, yeah, if those two things kind of aren't fixed in time, then, well, we are in for a rough ride. Okay, there we go. Now we have some people going for the capacitors and things like that. So, oh no. There we go. Or no, we need more juice apparently. I'm pretty sure that the corners here do work. Or is it that? Or what is it? Let's see. Yikes, I think this might actually be the end of our prison, not because it's kind of the end, but because I don't think this is actually, you know, like being quite honest, a good layout here. The other thing is that if you want to do like multiple generators for a prison, it is definitely possible. It is just that since we have everything linked up to one giant network, we'd have to cut it somewhere, and then we'd have to get things back up. So that said, I think we might just end the episode here. You know what? I've been actually. We'll let the autosave go through, but I've been actually meaning to make a separate prison. Maybe next time we'll try kind of an all indoors area, or very few outdoorsy areas instead. So with that said, I think I'll bid you guys adieu. When we come back, we will start up Prison 2 of, well, Prison Architect here.